Howdy, y'all. We got a good one today. We have a battle report for Seraphon versus Seraphon, Coalesced versus Starborne, Thunderlizards versus Fangs of Sotek, KROAK versus KROAK. This is where we need William Dafoe. There was a firefight. This is a good one. I had a lot of fun. I wanted to test two of my favorite lists out. We've got our STEGAGEDDON versus the Fangs Filth. We're going to be playing on Shifting Objectives. Shifting Objectives for this game. So let's take a look at the list. The Thunderlizard List is pretty standard for, fit in as many Stegadons as you can, along with Lord KROAK to kind of be my command point generator. He's not going to be doing a ton of damage in this one. The unique thing here is I'm taking a Scarvet on Carnosaur, and thanks to one of you, I think it was Jesus, mentioned that you can put the Fusel of Conflagration on the Scarvet on Carnosaur, and he has a unique rule. If the Carnosaur does any damage, then he can run and charge the rest of the game. So the plan here was to send him shooting forward, run him, turn the constellations to +1 to run and charge, do some damage with the Fusel of Conflagration at range. You roll a dice, and on a 1, it destroys itself. Not good. On a 2 or 3, it does nothing. So now you just set your Carnosaur up in the middle of the table, and he's free to hit on the next turn. Or on a 4-5, he does D3 mortals, and on a 6, he does D6 mortals. If he does those mortals and they go through, now he can charge even though he ran. So it's a pretty cool little strategy there. Thanks to you guys in the comments. So we're going to try that out, putting the Prime War Beast on him as well, so that he gets extra attacks on the mount. He is a general with a War Spear, so he gets 6 attacks, and if he can spend a command point on himself, 6s in all, his profiles will explode into an extra hit. So kind of just lets you get some extra hits out of this guy. KROAK, we're doing spell Walk Between Realms. This one lets a model fly. We're just going to put that on the Carnosaur as well. So turn 1, he's flying just in case there's something in the way, or if he makes a really big charge, then he can get up and over a screen or something. Engine of the Gods, just to help bring in some bodies. Stegadon Chief with Skystreak Bow, and then 4 Stegadons with the bows. Those bows have pretty incredible range. These guys move 8. Their bow has a 24-inch shot. 3 shots, 3s and 3s, -1 Ren, 3 damage. So we're going to try to snipe off some heroes here in this list. Turn 1, and then Alpha Strike with the Carnosaur. You kind of have a 50-50 shot to Alpha Strike with the Carnosaur on that artifact. But if it works, hey, it's pretty awesome. So let's take a look at the Fangs list. Fangs list is the same one I've kind of been running lately, and I won't try to spend too much time on it, but we got the KROAK Power Tower. So the KROAK here is a little bit more powerful than the KROAK in the other list. He does have the Astrolith Bear to support him, and a Balewind Vortex and some guard. So he's a lot harder to kill, and he'll have a lot better range. In the Thunderlizard list, he's really there to kind of do some mortals or across the board, just with that 1 comet spell, and then generate command points. Here, he's going to be a damage dealer. We've also got 2 Skink Star Priests and 2 Priests. One's a general, so he can hand out that free command point. Nothing too fancy on any of the other stuff. We got some big blobs of Skinks, 40 and 30. Those are going to be doing a ton of shots. And then we got our Chameleon Skinks, 15 Chameleon Skinks, and the Salamanders. Chameleon Skinks pop in anywhere on the board, basically, and they roll 30 dice. 6 is doing mortals, so a pretty legit threat. And then the Salamanders, I usually set them up pretty far back and then teleport them in. So usually I can hit you with Chameleon Skinks and Salamanders pretty much anywhere on the board. Pretty nice. So the big deal is here, so my son is going to play these Stegadons. He normally plays Astral Templars in Stormcast, so he's used to killing these Stegadons, hunting them down. This time he's going to be playing them. He does outdrop me. I'm playing the Fangs. Here's our deployment. And he does outdrop me, so he is going to get to choose who goes first. We can kind of see as we started deploying, I was focused mostly on these 2 objectives, and I'm going to just teleport something over there. If he gives me first turn, that's what I'm going to do. He's kind of mirroring the same thing. He's setting up a lot of his beef in the middle, enough over here to focus on that Skink Star Priest, and then just 1 to capture that objective. He does like to go first, which I sort of figured he would, and he's going to try his hardest to snipe off my Skink Priests. They're both in range of the Astrolith Bear, so that they do get an extra 6-up save, feel no pain save, a ward save, and they are -1 to hit because of Lookout Sir. That's the best I can do for them. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of places you can hide these guys from the Stegadons, unless you're just right at the back of the board, because they have such good range. So, in hindsight, maybe I should have put them at the back of the board. So, I did my typical deployment, which is just set up right on the line, because I want to get as much in as I can if I'm made to go first, which a lot of times I am because I have such high drops. So he's moving forward, just like this. He does run forward the Carnosaur. He gets, I think, Mystic Shield off on the Carnosaur, gets a couple other spells off. I don't think he got his Comet off from KROAK. I think I was able to stop that one, or he just didn't cast. In the shooting phase, he targets, I think it was like 3 Carnosaurs onto the this one Skink Star Priest, and then maybe one onto the Skink Priest right here. So he did some damage there. The Fusel of Conflagration did go off, and he killed 1 skink with it, and so he is going to get to charge me turn 1. He still has to make a 7-inch charge, but he has +1 to his charge. So, and he has a command point to reroll it if he needs it. Over on the right side, I don't think I have a picture of it, but this guy over here, this Star Priest, this guy is a hero. He gets shot by both of these guys, both those Stegadons, and survives. I think maybe one went through. No, I don't even think one went through. I think he saved something later, but maybe he saved a mortal from that Astrolith Bear. But he didn't take any damage from those Stegadons, which was nice. They should have statistically killed him, but they didn't, so that was good. He survived, and for some reason, through most of the game, that little guy, he ends up surviving. He saw his buddy over on the left side in the middle get just totally blasted by the Stegadon's crossbows, and he was having none of that. The Carnosaur does get in. He makes a charge, makes a pretty decent charge, doesn't have to reroll it, spends a command point on himself to explode 6s, and ends up killing with Battle Shock, because I didn't have a command point to save myself, because I don't have a command point in the list. He ends up killing 23 skinks out of the 40. So that really hampers the output of that unit. Of course, I've already lost a Star Priest on that side, so that unit's pretty much gone anyway. There's how the board ends. He's captured all the objectives, and the Stegadons are battle lines, so he's got each objective with a battle line unit, so that gives him an extra point. The primary objective was over on the left. His Carnosaur killed off quite a few skinks. It did what it needed to do, but now it's laid up perfectly for a counterattack. I'm definitely going to wipe that thing off the board, and hopefully I can start doing some damage with KROAK, and I've still got all my skinks over on the right side. So there's 30 skinks over there. They should be able to do some damage. So he scores 7 points that turn. And on my turn, I get the Balewind Vortex up. So because he had chosen the Constellation +1 to run in charge, which I think he needed to do to get the Carnosaur in, he's only unbinding at +1 from KROAK. And now I'm at +3 because I chose the Constellation +1 to cast. So I'm beating him right now. I think the next turn he flips it back over to the Constellation that gives him +1 to his cast and unbind, and then it became really like a KROAK spell casting battle. And we were both unbinding and casting our stuff. So it was pretty good magic battle there. But this one I'm winning out. I get the Balewind up. I've got quite a bit in range. I'm definitely going to be hitting that. And then I'm going to try to focus on these 2 guys, because I know I'm going to send these skinks up after those Stegadons. And so those are my 3 primary targets I'm going to hit with that spammable spell. Unfortunately, there's my rolls. So the first one goes off. So I did D3 mortals to each of those 3 monsters I was just looking at. But the next 2 casts I rolled 3s on. So even with +3, they cast on a 7, 8, and 9. So I didn't get a chance to cast those other 2. So not nearly as much damage as I had hoped for. I did get some extra mortals through on that guy from the Celestial Comet, his board-wide spell. And now we've moved up. These skinks are pretty much useless now, so I'm putting my buffs on this Salamanders, giving them +1 to their save. And he's using his free command point because he was the general, to give them +1 to their hits. So these salamanders are juiced up, and they're definitely going to kill that guy. These famous last words. These skinks over here, we've got 60 shots. You know, that I spent a command point to give them +1 to their hits. So now they're hitting on 4s, and then wounds on 5s. 6s do mortals. We should do some damage there. We've still got some heroes here in case they charge back. I bring in my chameleon skinks on the left side. No problem. We're going to take out this Stegadon. We've got 30 shots. 6s are doing mortals. And I teleported my hero over here. He's only got 3 wounds left. But hopefully he can stay around, because if he gets the next turn and he charges these guys, he can activate the shoot and move out of the way. So hopefully that'll give me a little defense. So the rolls, here's the chameleon skink rolls. So they hit on 3s, 6s do mortals. This is 30 shots. So not quite as many mortals as I wanted, I guess, but that's probably statistically not too far off. I can't remember what that roll was for, but it ended up not doing. I think that may have been my rune roll. Did amazing, but he may have saved some because it left him on 1 wound. We left that Stegadon on 1 wound. It was unfortunate. So I was hoping to kill him there. I even shot my little Star Priest at him and couldn't do any damage. So he left him on 1 wound. That was unfortunate. These guys here, they shot, and we're looking for 6s. That was their hit roll. So that wasn't good. 6s do D3 mortals. These guys over here did some work, but again, I keep leaving these Stegadons on 1 health. That one on the left, we shot everything into him, and he's got 1 health left. He's got one measly life left. So I could not kill him. I shot both priests at him, I think, too. Actually, the priests ran. I didn't shoot them. That's right. They had to run to keep up with the skinks. Man, so close to killing 2 Stegadons. These guys charge in the salamanders, and they clear off that Carnosaur. So here's how basically the end of this turn looks. I'm rolling pretty bad on my summons too. I'm only getting summons from the Astral Bear, just D3. I think at this point I had gotten maybe 4 points or something, and I wasn't willing to give up any spells from KROAK because I needed every spellcast from him that I could to do damage. So didn't have any summons yet, but I feel like I'm in a good spot. If I get the double turn, I can take out at minimum 2 Stegadons because they're about to fall anyway. But I could push even harder. Probably take this guy out with a spell, take that guy out with a spell. These skinks take on that one. These guys can probably get over here and take out that one. And now he's down to just 2 Stegadons left. Man, these guys could probably come over here and hit 1. We're in business. We're going to kill them all. Hold on. A little anti-dramatic there. So I'm down 1 point. Here's the roll-off. He wins the roll-off. Oh, maybe I'm still in okay shape. No, he kills off those 3 wounds with KROAK and the Board-Wide Comet. He's now +2 to cast. I'm +2 to unbind because I've also got the Constellation on me still. And so it's a good magic battle, and he's getting off some good stuff. He also casts... hold on, let's go back to this. His KROAK is right here behind this Engine of the Gods, and he's barely within range of 24 inches for Stellar Tempest. He had switched over to Stellar Tempest at the end of first turn, and so he's going to blow up those skinks. I probably should have measured for that. Maybe I could have stayed out of 24. But he blows that up, and he rolls quite a few 5s and 6s on Stellar Tempest. So he gets the spell cast off, and he blows up that horde. So he kills 15 skinks. So out of 30 dice, he rolled half on 5s and 6s. You know, sometimes it goes that way. At the beginning of the turn, he dispelled my Balewind Vortex, kicked me off my Balewind Vortex. And then we're on to movement. So he's moving some guys up. He's killed my Skink Priest over here on the left side, so he's free to charge those guys. He's only got 1 life left, so I'm pretty sure in melee, those guys aren't very good at melee, but they can take off 1 life in melee if they can make it. He's positioning to charge these guys on the salamanders, probably a smart plan. Charging here and just sitting back with the engine. I don't think he wants everything in range of KROAK. These 2 guys are coming in over here. I still have my heroes alive here, so I feel okay on that one. This guy's taken 1 wound. I think it was from the comet. Oh, he may have taken more, but he may have shrugged some off from that Astrolith Bear. That little Skink Priest over there was a boss. In shooting, he focus fired 2 Stegageddons onto these guys here and just spiked it hard. Spiked it real hard. Of course, their save is a 6 because they're not in cover. And so that -1 rend, everything goes straight through. But did exactly 15 damage that he needed to clear off those chameleon skinks. So with just 2 Stegageddons shooting, they're not many attacks, but when they hit so hard. So killed off my 15 chameleon skinks. That wasn't very nice. He did summon in some warriors there. That was the first summons of the game. And then he charged over here. So he charged this one in first. It only had 1 health left, and I think he was just charging it there knowing that it was going to get killed, and then he'd be free to charge this guy. So charge this one. I activated their shooting. There's only 13 guys left. There may be 15. You just can't see on screen. So he charges them. They do shoot. They do kill him off because they still are juiced up a little bit, but they don't get double shots now. I think it was because he killed some in the charge. I think he killed like 2 in the charge. That brought him under 15. I think that's what it was. So killed him on the charge. They don't have double shots anymore, but they had enough to take him out. And then I retreated them up and over this way. I did roll the 4 up to have them retreat. Because now he's got to choose, does he go after the heroes, which aren't on the objective? He'd lose the objective. Or does he go after these guys? So I'm just trying to make him choose there to where if he goes that way on my turn, I'll these heroes and score the objective. I know these guys are pretty much a lost cause at this point, but I can still outbody him on the objective. And he does. He charges over to the left, charges this guy in, charges this guy in, and now it's combat time. So the salamanders are at a 3-up save, so they're doing pretty good until the stomps, I think, went through. The stomps and jaws, and they're at a 3-up save because they get that +1 from the Skink Priest from last time. But I rolled 5 1s and 2s. So they lost 10 guys, which was mostly just all the handlers. And so I'm definitely going to have to spend a command point to keep the salamanders around and battle shock. They do hit back. They do some damage, but I've only got 2 left. And maybe that was more than 10. Oh, maybe I think he had already done some wounds with the horns at that point when I rolled that one. So I had 2 left. They're going to do some work on him, but he's pretty tough, so I couldn't chew through with 2 of them. He was undamaged. Over on the right side, he killed off all the skinks, and I've got nobody on the left side. So at the end of this turn, I've got 2 salamanders. I've got my unit of guard, KROAK, which is, granted, still can do a lot of damage, and then my 2 heroes over here with nobody to support. So he scores another 7 in his turn. And now we're into my turn. I get back up on the Balewind. Can't keep me down. And now I've got quite a bit in range. I'm hoping I can blow up, all 3 of these guys in the magic phase. We kill off that one on the left. That was holding that objective with the board-wide comet. And then we do quite a bit of damage to these ones that are here in the middle. We got that one down to, it looks like 2 wounds left. We got 7 wounds onto this guy. So he's got 5 left, if I can do math. So I'm liking that. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of stuff to do anymore. It's like I don't have a lot of power projection other than KROAK. And I was getting stopped here and there every once in a while by his other spells. I run the guard up. They're still within 3 to take some wounds from him if I need to. but they are running up, so I can get two models on here. There's just barely a corridor in between these two Stegadons that I could run them, but I did have to run them. They only move 5. These salamanders are going to shoot into here. They should kill that guy off. And I teleport my Ashwolf Bearer over to the left side. If I get the next turn, I can bring in some skinks over on that objective just to help hold that one. So that's the plan. Salamanders do kill off that middle Stegadon. And then I got a little overconfident, and I was like, I'm just going to roll for a charge. I rolled for a charge. This was after the shooting phase. They shot off the other Stegadon. I rolled a charge. I rolled a big charge, and I was like, I'm going for it. I'm going to try to go into that Stegadon. He's hurt. Maybe he can't do enough damage back to me. That is the Skink Priest, or the Skink Chief. But I only need to do 7 wounds, or 5 wounds. Maybe I can do it. Unfortunately, as the story goes, I do not. I do 2 wounds somehow. Only 2 wounds. And he kills off. I had 4 wounds left in that unit, I think. And so he kills off those last 4 units, which unfortunately prevents me from capturing that objective. So I had 3 models on it at that point before I charged. And now he's killed those 2. I only have 2, the 2 guard, and he has 2. So he still retains control. I don't get it. Probably a mistake made. Sometimes you got to play for points, not for the glory of killing stuff. So here's how the turn ends. I do hold this one over here. I hold this one. I do not hold this one. Unfortunately, this was my only battle line, and so that would have scored me an extra point if I could have gotten it. But I don't. I don't have any battle line on any of the others, so I only score 3 points that turn. If I get the next turn, though, I feel confident because KROAK will kill off these 2 probably, and then all I've got to contend with is this engine, his KROAK, and some warriors. I can summon on bodies over here. He's not going to be able to get onto that one for a turn or 2. I can keep these guys here. Maybe the engine goes into him on his turn, but then KROAK will be able to hit the engine back off. So maybe. So I'm down quite a few points. What is that? 14-9. Got plenty of command points. Just nothing to use them on right now. So going into 3, he, of course, wins the roll-off. So no double turns for me this whole game. I think that's what I kind of needed. And at this point, we didn't play the whole thing out. He killed off the guard, killed off my 2 heroes, and that's all she wrote. Now I'm down to just KROAK and my Ashwolf Bearer over on the left side. So I can probably still kill off a Stegadon or 2 in my turn, but I'm not going to have enough to score objectives anymore. So we call the game there. That was it. Major win for Stegadons. I mean, this proves which list is better, right? Coalesced versus Fangs? Probably not. So, let's see. After action report. I think if I had gotten any of the double turns, it would have tipped that game pretty hard in my favor. But because we kept flipping, he was able to just keep piling on some damage. Never let me really double tap KROAK, in double turns on all his important stuff. And the KROAK versus KROAK was actually a pretty good battle. The magic phase was not a given with my KROAK because he was also +2 to his unbind. And so we had some pretty good casting battle there. KROAK on the Balewind did a lot of damage, but his KROAK with Stellar Tempest also, took out half a unit of skinks on his own, as well as helping plink off those heroes. So, what would I do different for Stegadons? I don't know that I'd do much different for the Stegadon list. I might switch out the Carnosaur. That he did amazing work in this one, but that's a 50-50 shot, and it takes a couple command points to really make it pop. And if you don't line up right on the line, it's almost not even worth trying. But, later in round 2 or something, if you're a little bit more conservative with the Carnosaur, it can still be pretty good. And that list has 210 points exactly left over for me to spend, so it kind of fits naturally. For Fangs, I think the biggest deal is I was looking at it, and I think I need to line up my heroes on the board, on the back of the board against this. the Stegadons, they move 8, they shoot 24, they start 12 inches off their backboard. So there's basically a 4-inch zone in the back of the board where my heroes are safe. So maybe I play more conservative and line all these guys up on the backboard. You can't really line your whole army up there. So I mean, if he's not shooting my heroes, he might just blast all 5 Stegadons into the skinks and just kill half the skinks, and then my power's gone there. So those Stegadons are pretty nice. Those shots are kind of streaky, but when they hit, they can hit real hard. So I think if I were to try it again, I'd line up back here. I think I have enough movement that if I can survive that turn 1, him sniping the Star Priests, then I'm in okay shape, and then I can start doing mortals to those guys. And I have a lot of one damage output, and Coalesced doesn't reduce that. They did reduce like the hits that went through on the Salamanders, not the mortals, but the normal hits. They would reduce by 1, which really hurt them. That was pretty much my only multi-damage stuff I have, other than mortals, which Coalesced doesn't reduce. So I think I might line up there on the back, see if that would work better. I definitely wouldn't get Alpha Charge from the Carnosaur back here, and I might have an option to strike back. But really, I just needed one of those turns. I needed one of those double turns, and I could have done it. So good game overall. This proves that Stegageddon, it's legit. It can take on the Fangs filth. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.